Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're really getting into the thick of it with Kuruluş Osman, especially as things are leading up towards episode 191.
That's right.
The big question really is, can Osman Bey keep pushing outwards, keep expanding, while, making sure everything stays solid back home?
Yeah.
His eyes are definitely on Constantinople now, and that changes things.
It really does. The material we've looked at suggests we're at a real pivot point. It's not just about counting battles anymore.
Wait.
It's this much more, tangled web of external threats and internal pressures. These are going to be key, in figuring out where Osman's whole project goes next.
So our mission today is to kind of pull apart those threads.
Exactly. To give you a clearer picture of the challenges, the potential forks in the road for his principality based on what the sources are hinting at.
Okay, let's dive right in then. Constantinople. Its shadow is definitely getting longer, wouldn't you say?
No question. Osman's big dream, his long-term thing, has always been uniting the Turkish beyliks, right? And eventually taking on Byzantium.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing these Byzantine figures pop up again. Spies, secret deals, maybe even traitors inside the camp.
It feels like something big militarily is coming, maybe beyond the borders they have now.
It could be, but what's really interesting, I think, is the hint that the next big move might not be a full-on attack.
Oh, what then?
Well, the sources point towards maybe a political game, like Osman negotiating with a tekfur, Byzantine governor.
Right.
But this tekfur is secretly playing everyone. He's working for the emperor, but maybe also for, the Vatican or the Templars.
Wow, okay. Adult, maybe triple agent.
Sort of thing. And if Osman uncovers that, well, that completely flips
right.
his strategy on its head, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It shows he's not just thinking about swords and arrows anymore.
Exactly. He's getting into the deep political maneuvering, which, could save lives, save resources, give him an edge without a fight. It's a sign of his leadership maturing, I'd say.
That makes sense. But it's not just the external stuff, is it? There's trouble brewing inside, too.
Definitely.
Like with Aladdin Bey, he's finding his place, sure, but you can still feel that tension between him and the old guard, the guys who rode with their two-rule.
Yeah, that experience gap, maybe, or different ways of thinking.
Right. And it feels like we might see someone, maybe someone close to Osman, start to, raise their voice a bit.
Question his judgment, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe say, are we pushing too hard, spreading ourselves too thin, that kind of thing.
And that's a really interesting leadership challenge, isn't it? How do you push forward without breaking what you've already built? The sources suggest this might not be like open defiance, more like through counsel, a trusted advisor just planting seeds of doubt.
Which can be more powerful sometimes.
In some ways, yes. Makes Osman really think about the risks, the potential downsides of being so ambitious.
And then there's Bala Hatun and Malhun Hatun. Their roles seem to be getting bigger, more important.
Definitely more than just, being supportive figures in the background.
Right. Bala's got that spiritual core, that strength. But Malhun seems to be stepping up more in, diplomacy. Strategy.
Yes, exactly. And imagine if one of them actually managed to negotiate a major deal, maybe with a tribe they've always fought with. That would be huge.
It would really show Osman's statecraft isn't just him, right? It's becoming a family, a team effort.
It underlines the whole state-building aspect. It's not just conquest, it's diplomacy, alliances. But there's a flip side.
What's that?
The danger. If Bala or Malhun are out there doing independent diplomacy, what if they get captured? Or betrayed?
Oh, right. That would hit Osman hard, personally and politically.
Hugely. It would test his trust, his authority. And for you watching it, it connects the big political stakes with, the personal drama, makes it all feel more real.
Absolutely. Ties it all together. Okay, so what about the next generation? Orhan and Aladdin.
Ah, yes, the son.
They seem to be going down very different roads.
Yeah.
Orhan's out there getting battle experience, making alliances on the ground.
The practical one, perhaps?
While Aladdin, he seems more, cerebral, focused on diplomacy, long-term planning, maybe even thinking about a proper government system, a divan.
It's setting up a fascinating contrast. And you can imagine a crisis hitting she, right? Maybe a bad treaty offer or a sudden attack.
And they'd react totally differently.
Exactly. Aladdin might say, let's negotiate, let's think this through. While Orhan's like, we need to head back now.
And Osman has to choose. Or choose who gets to make the call.
Right. And whichever way he goes, whoever he trusts in that moment,
Yeah.
that could echo for years. Could be the start of a real rivalry.
That classic theme, brother against brother, or at least tension.
Yeah, and the sources seem keen that it shouldn't just flare up overnight. It needs to build slowly. You know, little disagreements, different followers, maybe one feels like he's living in the other's shadow.
A slow burn.
The slow burn, exactly. And think about Osmond's position, trying to guide them both, not pick favorites. It's like Ertugrul's struggles all over again, isn't it?
It really is that weight of history.
And maybe Osmond tries to be fair. He says, okay, Orhan, you lead the army. Aladdin, you manage things back home, the territories.
Sounds fair on paper.
But how does each son feel about that, you know? Does Orhan feel like he's got the real power, or does Aladdin feel like he's being sidelined from the action? Perception is everything.
And that creates an opening, doesn't it, for someone else to stir the pot?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine that clever Tekfur we mentioned, or some disgruntled ally. They could whisper in Orhan's ear, flatter Aladdin, feed them lies about the other.
Play them off each other.
Exactly. Maybe promise them things. And suddenly, you could have one brother unintentionally betraying the other, or betraying Osmond's plans without even fully realizing it.
That kind of unintentional betrayal.
Yeah.
That cuts deep.
And this whole theme of betrayal from within, it keeps coming back, doesn't it? Just when Osmond seems secure, bam, someone trusted lets him down.
I've seen hints lately, haven't we? Like things going missing, intelligence that's not quite right, missed chances.
Subtle sabotage. It all points to someone on the inside working against him. And maybe it connects back to those internal tensions we talked about. Someone feels ignored, passed over.
And they become vulnerable. Maybe they lost land or a son died and they're desperate.
Right. And someone offers them protection or just a bit of gold for what seems like a small piece of information.
It creates such suspense for us watching, knowing there's a snake in the grass while Osmond doesn't.
That dramatic irony, yeah.
Yeah.
And what if a former ally returns? Someone everyone thought was dead or captured by the Byzantines.
Okay, now that's complicated.
Right. Are they really back? Or have they been turned? Blackmailed, maybe. Brainwashed, even. You wouldn't know who to trust. Adds another layer of paranoia.
So mistrust internally and the external threat is changing too. It's not just about taking forts anymore.
Seems like it. Osmond's been good at sieges, taking castles. But the Byzantines, maybe with help from, the Vatican or Templars, they might be shifting.
To what?
More asymmetric stuff, spying, like we said, fake treaties to trap him, sending infiltrators deep into his territory. It's a different kind of fight.
So how does Osmond counter that?
Well, maybe he pushes harder territorially, not just forts, but controlling key trade routes, maybe important religious sites, gain leverage that way.
And there's that idea of him declaring a new Sancak, like a new province under his direct rule.
Yeah, that would be a power move. A big one. It's basically saying, this is mine now, defying the Byzantine governors directly.
But wouldn't that annoy the other Turkish beys too?
Oh, absolutely. They'd see it as him overreaching, stepping on their toes. So it could spark conflict not just with Byzantium, but with his fellow Turks as well. Risky. But controlling trade routes means wealth and strategic power.
So more enemies potentially. Okay, and what about his own army? Are they changing? Adapting?
Historically, the early Ottomans were brilliant at that, picking up new tactics. So, yeah, maybe we'll see Osman bring in better siege engines.
Or like fire arrows, things like that.
Could be. Or maybe something more specialized, like a new elite unit for stealth missions, reconnaissance.
Ah, like spies and saboteurs of their own.
Sort of. The sources hint at maybe a new silent unit. Alps trained specifically for infiltration, getting behind enemy lines, gathering intel, maybe sabotage.
And we might see them tested on a specific mission.
That would be a great storyline, wouldn't it? A test run for this new kind of warfare Osman might be shifting towards.
But all this, expansion, new tactics, betrayal,
Yeah.
it takes a toll, right? Human cost.
Always. That's something the sources seem to emphasize. Ambition costs lives.
And maybe we'll see it hit close to home. Not a big battle death, but someone we know, a secondary character we like.
It's caught in an ambush. Or is the victim of that betrayal we talked about.
Yeah, not a heroic charge, but something sudden, maybe cowardly.
It would really hammer home the danger of these new covert tactics. That the threat isn't always obvious, isn't always face-to-face. It underscores that shift in warfare.
Okay, so pulling it all together as we wrap up, the tensions are clear. You've got Byzantium maybe changing tactics. You've got potential dissent inside Osman's own circle.
The whole dynamic between Orhan and Aladdin, that balancing act.
The constant shadow of betrayal. and this shift in how wars might be fought. It's a lot.
It's a pressure cooker situation, really, which leads to maybe a final thought for you, the listener.
Go ahead.
With all these pressures swirling around Osman Bey, internal, external, familial, what single thing, one factor, do you think will be the most decisive? The biggest determinant of whether he actually reaches his ultimate goals? Is it going to be his political skill, his ability to handle his own family? Or is it about adapting militarily, something else entirely?
That's a tough one. A lot to chew on there.
Definitely something to keep in mind as you watch things unfold.
Yeah, thinking about these underlying currents, these potential turning points, it definitely makes watching the story richer, more engaging. Thanks for breaking all that down.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating period.